This is the video for Friday, September the 20th, and we saw something important today in the market. We saw this big change, this big reversal in sentiment happening just after 1 o'clock when the traders came back from lunch. We had huge volume in the Dow, big volume in the NASDAQ, and extremely high volume in the S&P 500. Now, when have we seen volumes over the relative volume line since I've been making these videos for the last 3 months or so? We haven't. So this is significant. This is a change in trend, although the decliners barely led the advancers by not very much. And the stock market breadth is going to, let's see, that's already reflected because this is Saturday morning, has already come down to 0 and stopped there. So Monday is going to be important. If the decliners lead the advancers, then I think we are on our way to an oversold situation where we can churn for quite a while. And there have been warnings out there in the press about a rocky September, and now they're starting to talk about a rocky October. And I don't mean Iraq, I mean rocky. But let's take a look at the FinViz page, because we don't spend enough time on this. I hope you do, but there's some really cool stuff in here. Not only the advancers and decliners, the new highs and the new lows. 145 new highs were made yesterday despite this, and 4,962 stocks are still above the 50-day moving average. 60% of stocks are still above the 200-day moving average. And this is the sentiment indicator for anybody who's on the site. They just click bull or bear. They get a chance to vote once a day, I guess. But it got bearish. People started feeling bearish in early morning, and then it just continued. So this is just a poll of people who use the FinViz site. There's a couple of other things I want to point out to you. You should take a look at these major futures. And we saw gold yesterday up 1.2%. The major news stocks were all down. The only one that was up was AT&T. Now remember, I sold all my AT&T, but AT&T is in this lovely channel upwards, and FinViz draws those channels for you and even draws the trend lines automatically. So if this is true, we're going to get resistance right here on the channel, but we might actually get the stock going all the way up here. AT&T might be a stock to buy back into and hold on to because of its dividend, and I'm going to be looking at that on Monday. It's still a safe stock at a 5.5% dividend. It's going to be attracting buyers in a difficult market time. And the number of shorts, let's see, the shares short is only 1.4%. So not a lot of people are bearish on AT&T. Let's take a look at the market. The S&P dropped below 3,000. So we said the last time we talked that we were going to see the S&P going down, and we were looking at support on this neckline as it was earlier in the week and almost was today. But we're still looking for that gap to be filled. And this flat cloud under there, you know what we say about flat clouds, they tend to attract price like magnets. Let's keep an eye on this attraction here for this period, which ranges from September 25th through to October the 17th. There's going to be this pull by traders who are trading the Ichimoku system. Apple, we said Apple would be going up, down and then up. Well, we've got our down, but the up may be questionable now if people start taking their profits near the all-time high, which is right here at 233. So people started taking their profits right here at 226. Figuring that that was close enough to the all-time high. Let's look at the volume. The volume Friday was particularly high. This is institutional selling. The average traders like you and I don't trade enough to take the volume over the 20-day moving average. So when you see that and these two here, which were a total reversal of these two green volume sticks, and then this big pop yesterday, that's not very good. I don't know what iPhone 11 sales were like. I had an iPhone 11 delivered to me yesterday. It's really not different than my wife's iPhone XR. It's exactly the same, faster processor, same body, same screen, a little bit more memory in the RAM, and it's got a better camera. But it's the same phone, so if somebody's not a photographer, there's no point in updating from the 10, which I had before and upgraded, or the XR. So anybody who's bought a phone in the last 2 years is not likely to be tempted by the iPhone 11 unless they're a photographer. So Apple, I'm going to change my thoughts on Apple now, and let's see. But we could be coming back and looking for a test on the cloud up here and this 78.2 to reassure ourselves that there's still people interested in buying. Caterpillar, which I sold. I said I sold 130 calls, but when I woke up on Friday morning, I realized I'd sold the 129 calls. Anyways, they expired worthless, and I got to keep the $1.67. I only have 400 shares, but it really meant that I didn't lose any money on Caterpillar over the last couple of days by selling. And on Monday, I will be a seller again, probably of the 130 calls. I tried to roll them, but I wasn't near a computer in the last hour, and so they just expired worthless. But look at what we have here. We said that the stock was going to come down and was going to touch the cloud and get support there and was going to start moving back up, and that's a distinct possibility. So our moving down has occurred, and the cloud support is there. It could very well touch cloud support a few more times next week, and that could continue for a while before there's any move up. But look at the volume in Caterpillar, really quite strong. Not enough to reverse these 3 days here of bullishness, but we had a reversal day here and another big reversal day there, so Monday will be important. Gold is our little beauty here, GDX miners, which we said would be going up. We said that on the 13th of September, and that's indeed what is happening. So that gold miners is a really good stock to have, and a little bit, and one to be a little bit overweight on. Whirlpool, which we got out of, is getting support on this trend line, but let's look at its volume. Just relative average volume, nothing to get too concerned about there. There's no signs other than back here, and we certainly saw institutional selling back here, and this precipitous drop down to the 200 simple moving average before it moved back up again. But I'm out of Whirlpool too. Snap is over 17, so if you bought it, congratulations, you're up about, we said we could possibly buy it here at 1684, so you're up a little bit. And it does look like it's going to move. So that's all I've got to say right now. I did read something on FinBiz about Canadian banking stocks making a big resurgence, because if there's any question about a slowing economy, people are going to be moving towards the banking stocks for their rich dividends. And that's a reason to be owning AT&T, which I'm going to take a look at on Monday. And if I do anything there, I will let you know. The S&P is under a tremendous amount of pressure. Let's just look at the SPY, and let's just look at the volume in the SPY, and look at that 2 days of negative volume. And then if you look back to July 31st, there have been more negative volume days than there have been positive volume days over the moving average. That's significant. We do have the flat cloud. Of course, the SPY and the SPX are the same thing. We have the flat cloud. And I believe we're heading to this important number, 2960, 2961. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I look forward to talking to you on Monday.